talk here. He loves Y series. He's the one who got me into it. And I'm like,
See?
he's completed all the Y series. I'm talking dozens for the past few years on Netflix. Like done.
Right. But
And for
that's how you
me,
know that he's the one. And I just had this conversation with a friend of mine not too long ago. And I said, ultimately, you want to marry your best friend because, you don't have to like the same things 100%, but you got to have the same kind of lifestyle at least and enjoy doing some of, the same things.
yeah.
That's how, and that's how I found out. Like, I was like, okay, whatever worked for me in the past obviously is not working for me. So I had to change that. And I was like, oh my God, it's relationships are hard, but ultimately you just want, life is so difficult already. Life is so fucking hard. The last thing you
Mm.
want is to be with someone that's going to make your life even harder.
For me, the last thing I want is to just live and just be sad every other
Yeah,
minute, or having a grudge, or just being upset with my boyfriend or husband.
right.
I'm so grateful to have him in my life. I mean, we don't pick on the little things. Okay, for example, just maybe 2 days ago,
Mm-hmm.
I came home, I went to the couch, and then he was watching something, and then we were talking, and then I took up the remote, and then I was turn on some of the channel, and he said, baby, I'm watching this show. I said, oh, okay. But 10 years ago, it wasn't like this. I'll be like, you've been sitting here all day long. It's time for me to watch what I want to watch. It's my
That's
time
right.
now. But
Right.
you learn to live and realize, oh, yeah, he was watching. He's right. So let me go
Yeah.
take a shower, and let me just watch a series on my phone in the bedroom, and that'll be okay.
See that you realize that you start to change too when you're with the right person. And it's like
Yeah.
exactly, I can mirror exactly what you said. If that was me maybe even 5 years ago, or like 5 years ago, I would have been like, Jesus, like, okay, sorry, and it would be this attitude. But I realize now it's just like, you know what? Yeah, he is watching something. Like that's all right, cool. Like I'll bow down to that. Like I'll go watch in
Yeah.
the other room or something. So it
But
definitely takes out the best in you.
I
How
mean,
long have you guys been
what,
together?
12 years now?
Wow.
And for the first 5 years, it was always been about me. It's like, what does Woody want? What does Woody want? And what does Woody want?
Mm,
And then you also begin to see that he's not going to change to be a person. He's not going to become me, right?
right.
He's never, ever going to become me. And if you want to live life happily, you got to make sure that the person that will change is not them, but you. You are the agent of change. You have to change. It is you who is
Right.
responsible for that change,
Hmm.
if you want to still remain in the relationship.
Yeah.
So yeah,
How
if I
is
didn't
it
change,
like?
then I don't think I'll be here today.
Did you guys ever go through any kind of like struggles that you would feel like maybe a lot of other, gay people out there would feel too? And you being in the spotlight too, and being, a talk show host and stuff, did you have to face any struggles, or what was that like for you in Thailand? Because for me, in the places that I've lived and worked in my life, Hong Kong, Singapore, LA, Thailand, I feel like Thailand is so acceptive, so acceptant of like no matter what you are. Versus I still feel like there's still a little bit of that struggle in places like Singapore where it's still a very sensitive subject.
That's a tough question, also. I mean, that's a tough one to tackle, because for me,
Mm,
honestly, I I've since coming out, I felt so much love from the community, from the fans, from my family. Obviously, you have, some people online would bash you, saying bad things about you, or you being gay. I mean, you have that. But
right.
but I don't walk on the street and people boo me or call me bad names, or I don't have that. So for me, I'm very hopeful that, there'll be, I am in the spotlight, but for me, I've never been through that phase where I feel so ashamed or feel so bad. I never had that.
Because I feel like there's so many kids, that go through stuff like that. And it's like, for you, you might not have gone through that, but it's like sometimes I read stuff and I'm like, wow, like, like kids being teased in school, or like maybe even people not knowing yet, like, should I come out, or too worried to come out because they're too scared of what their parents will say or their friends. And I was like, wow, that's going to be like a really tough thing to do.
I grew up, I didn't have any role models. I grew up with Ellen, and that was it, right? Who do we have? Yeah, Ellen, and that was it.
Yeah,
And she's
yeah,
not even Thai, right?
yeah.
Me growing up in Thailand, I don't know who to look up to. And that's why I didn't come out until only recently. And when I came out, I mean, the industry knew,
Hmm.
everybody knew, but I just didn't come out and say, hey, I'm gay, I'm here.
Right.
But I came out because a picture of me, a photo of me and my husband leaked online about the marriage. And I really
Hmm.
want to lie. We said that if we were to come out, and if it were to be useful for kids out there who are struggling
Hmm.
to just live, at least they'll feel like, okay, hey, Woody is gay too. It's okay to
Yeah,
be whoever you want to be, right?
yeah.
So that's why we decided to come out, not because we didn't want to just clear the air, but we want to make sure that at least we're able to help others as well. So
Other
after coming
people.
out, we have people inboxing me, messaging me. I have
Right.
moms messaging me saying, oh my gosh, I'm so glad you came out so that I can now go up to my son and tell him to come out now. I said, so
Oh,
I messaged her, I said, but some kids, you got to give them time. You don't just go to your son and
yeah.
say, come out now because Woody's gay. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
That would be great though. That would be like, Woody did it and you can do it too.
I had a few moms, I had a few moms with that energy. I had to, I had to tell them to slow down just a bit because some kids, that's all.
So going back to Ellen, because you mentioned Ellen, did you just get you went to go to the Ellen show, right? In the US not too long ago.
Yes, I went to the Ellen show. We were supposed to announce in early April, but we are going to be the first Ellen show outside of America.
Woot woot! Yes! I love Ellen.
It's gonna be called the Woody Show, but it's the
Okay.
Ellen format. So we're gonna give away cars and and
Dude, maybe I need
and,
to be on your show because I need a new car.
and what else you do? You come on the show, and surprises, and it's a feel good show, Asa. And
Yeah.
last year, after having been on online for the past 2 or 3 years, I
Hmm.
told my team I want to come back to television again.
Right.
So we're coming back to Channel 7 prime
Hmm.
time, and they asked me what format would I want to come back with, and I said, you know what? I've been interviewing people all my life. I
Hmm.
want to do something new. I want to have a game show. I want to have a semi-reality show. I want it to be fun and quirky, and don't think too much. Just
Which is
enjoy with the guests.
great for you because I realized that in the work that you've done in the past, which I mean, I really enjoyed it because I always looked at you as like Woody's the talk show host in Thailand that will ask you questions that probably no other talk show host would dare to ask you. And he would be really straightforward and you would talk about relevant stuff, which is great. But
Mm.
you always, you always spoke about serious stuff. Like, even with you and me, when we did an interview, there was a lot of serious talking. So it's like, it's good now that you're like moving on to a much lighter side of you too. Cause I feel like people always saw like the serious interview Woody, but you have such a fun side to you too that I feel like this Ellen thing could be really, really good.
I mean, even you talking about this, I mean, I feel just happy listening to you understanding why I chose to get that format. Because people, they always ask me, why get the Ellen format? What is it about that format? I
Because
said,
it's a feel-good show. It's such a
exactly,
feel-good show.
exactly. I mean, it's a no-brainer. We get to use all her skits and all her games,
Are
right?
you gonna
But
scare people on set too, like how they have jumping out of the boxes? You need to do that.
I've decided I'm going with, yeah, we're doing that.
You should. You should. And then you need to. One thing I like about Ellen is the part where she's always picking on her producer, and
Hmm.
she's always making him do stuff. Like I feel
Oh,
like this is
average
the
Andy.
fun stuff.
Yeah, yeah. We're
So
gonna have our own. We're gonna have our own segments, and
yeah.
probably we're going to make it very Thai, so that I mean, the Ellen format is very, like the talk show part. The conversations will be longer, not too
Hmm.
concise. I mean, it won't be short.
Hmm.
There'll be more pranks on the show, and the guests will need to be updated. It would be a weekly show. I think we might be the first live format.
Oh, so you're gonna have a live audience.
It's live audience, and we might go live.
Oh, that's amazing. And this goes on this goes on network or this goes online?
This goes on network and online.
Oh, nice. Okay. So
Yes.
what
So
happened? You just like woke
we're,
up one day and
we're
was like, I'm gonna get the rights to Ellen.
no, because like I said before, I want, they asked which format would I want to produce my new talk show in Thailand, and I said
Mhm.
the other format, and then they said, oh, should we get the rights to the show? I said, why not? Let's just ask them. We've never seen the Ellen format outside of the US of A,
Right.
right? So we emailed the guys, and then yeah, a few months later, I was in LA, and I was telling her, hi Ellen, we're doing your format for Thailand. She said, am I hosting?
Oh, so you got to meet her too.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. She's so
How is
sweet.
she as a person? She would seem like a really fun person to meet.
She's very professional.
Yeah.
She's fun, and what I got out of her is her work, the way she works. She arrives at around 11 a.m.
Hmm. Hmm.
and then she leaves the studio at around 3:30, and
Right.
that's it. So when I came back to Thailand, I'm like, that's the exact hours I'm gonna be working. Like, well, not 11 to 3, but perhaps noon to 4, and that's it. Because all my life I've been just working all day. Also,
Well,
I think about
that's another thing. It's like in Asia, we don't have SAG. For those of you that don't know what SAG is, it's a Screen Actors Guild, and that's like, something that protects actors or anyone in the entertainment industry where you won't work beyond a certain amount of hours and you get fed on set and blah, blah, blah. So in Asia, we don't have SAG. So
mm,
we work when the job is done. I mean, how many shoots I've been on set before. I'm not kidding you. I did a commercial once that ran at least 21 hours. And at that point, I was like, I don't even know if like the last few hours of what we were doing can even be used because at this point at 21 hours, you can barely see straight. So, I mean, it's great if you can adapt that Ellen life of that 12 to 4. That's like an office job. It's like a 9 to 5 job. It's great.
yeah. I mean, obviously the team is there before Ellen. They're there in the morning, and they're there after that time. Until maybe perhaps 6 p.m. But to me, she taught me how to be more focused on just
Hmm.
doing what you need to be doing that day. So
Hmm.
I came back to Thailand, making sure that I get things done, I make decisions, I make the calls, I go into meetings during, between in the afternoon at the
Hmm.
office.
Hmm.
But in the morning from 6 to noon, it's just my time, me working out, fixing my
Right.
body, reading, learning. I am enjoying the master classes online. That's what I've been doing for the past month or two. And after 6 p.m., I come home. I don't work. I don't talk about work. I don't do work. It's
See,
more
that's like
relaxed
the kind of
meditation.
ultimate life I feel like everyone, including myself, is just trying to strive for is putting the phone away after 6 and just not giving a shit about what happens on your phone at a certain time. And I lived in LA for 4 years, and it was weird because when I first moved there, I would call people after 6 and be like, hey, and they'd be like, no, we're not talking about work right now. It's after 6. I don't answer the phone. And I realized like it's such a change in lifestyle, and it's such a healthy life to live like that because we often, especially people in Asia, we're on our phones all the time and we're working like crazy hours, and it's just like it kind of runs you to the ground. And I realized with myself too, and when I first started my career, I was running myself to the ground. I would work, work, work. I would just be chasing, 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 and hustling and hustling and hustling until literally maybe in the last few years of my life, I was like, you know what? I'm freaking tired. Like I'm tired. Like I just need to slow down and realize that life has so much more to offer than, you know, these things of just hustling all the time.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to do that.
It's challenging, but then you learn along the way, and then you adjust and you see what's right for you, because with each person is different. Some people
Mm-hmm.
just like to work all day long, and that juices them up, that pumps them up. I used to be like that, but
Mm-hmm.
now I'm just not like that. I would just love to work all day, fix things all day, but now it's too overwhelming for me. I had a panic attack last year.
Oh,
I never thought I would. I don't even know what panic attacks are. Never
yeah.
understood
Actually,
it.
I was gonna. My next thing to you was, what is a panic attack? Like you always hear, like, oh, I'm gonna have a panic attack. You're like, well, what is a panic attack?
I've been interviewing people, they've been talking about it. I'm like, what the hell is it?
Mm-hmm.
What happens during it?
I want to know too.
Well,
What is it?
so I was in a restaurant, sitting, eating, talking to friends, and then all of a sudden I feel like I couldn't breathe. Oh shoot, why do I feel like I can't even sit here anymore? You can't stay still. So I went to the
Right.
toilet, I washed my face, and I feel like, okay, I'm gonna die now. I am gonna die now. This is how I'm gonna end my life in this Japanese restaurant.
You felt like you were having a heart attack?
I couldn't breathe. I thought I couldn't breathe, but in fact, I was breathing so fast. So I went to the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
They injected me with Valium, put me to sleep, and then I woke up feeling
You're
okay.
like, yes. Yes.
Yeah. And over the next, and then after that was in November, and a week or two after that, I had another panic attack and I went to the hospital again. So the third time around, I became more accustomed to it. Like I was really used to it. And then I realized, okay, maybe I don't need to go to the hospital. Maybe I just need to get a breather or walk around or change my state.
Right.
Instead of just sitting here moping, I got to be doing something else. And I
Mm-hmm.
learned to live with it.
Mm-hmm.
I learned to live with it. And then I asked myself, because every time you have a panic attack and you think about the future too much, when it's going to be gone, or am I going to get this panic attack while I'm doing the Woody show? This would
Right.
be not okay. And that
Yeah.
it boosts up, it pumps up the volume of that panic attack,
Yeah.
and it gets even worse. So the key to get out of panic attack is to not be in the future, but come back to the present.
Yeah.
So you just got
Right.
to breathe slowly and just come back to the present and just learn to
That's
be in the
funny because
present.
I felt there's so many times maybe like I would always feel like, oh my God, I think I'm gonna have a panic attack. And it wasn't, I've never really reached the stage of panic attack like you did going to the hospital, but pretty much last year I was at a point where I was like, I was so stressed about my future and I was not really in the present. Everything was, oh, but what's going to happen after that? What's going to happen after this? What's going to happen? It was never like, but look at what I have right now. Look at what
Mm,
I've gained right now. Look, like my family is well, like my parents are healthy. It was always like, but what about this? But what about that? And I realized it's a
mm,
vicious cycle that and you start telling yourself, well, it's not enough right now. I need that. I need that. And I literally drove myself to the ground that I was like, almost I had to sit and have a conversation with myself and be like, Asa, you fucking spoiled brat. Like, your life is pretty good. Just take it step by step, you know?
mm.
And like
Yeah.
that's I guess that's a good thing with quarantine right now too, is just being home. Like I was never the kind of person that could take a nap. Okay, people that say, "Oh, by the way, I just need to go take a nap," I'd be like, oh, "How do you do that?" Because I swear to God, I've never taken a nap in my entire life. And I'm
Yeah.
like, first time in quarantine, I've taken naps, and I'm like, wow, like I must be really, really relaxed if I'm taking naps. I love
We,
quarantine. Like I could stay like this for another year.
I think life, in a way, I think the universe is trying to let us see what life is like when you go slower, slower, slower.
Yeah,
You rest. I think people back then, sapiens, how you probably have like
yeah,
afternoon siestas,
right.
but not us nowadays. I mean, I think in the afternoon, maybe after eating, you deserve to sleep, I guess. I mean, we should
I
rest
think
more.
we need to move to Spain then, where we can have siestas, because I went there on holiday and I was like, I could live here if that's the
Uh,
case.
The Spanish people, they know what they're doing.
Well, they know how to live life, so that's
Yeah,
like, I guess that's what it's all
yeah.
about these days.
But
Well,
guess
thank
what?
you.
Yeah, I'm just telling you that with the quarantine situation, I'm glad that the panic attack kind of went away,
Mhm.
because of COVID. Because me being at home, living life slow, getting a breather, it was
So
meant to be.
do you like this quarantine I mean, obviously not the situation and the stuff that it's put people through, but I mean, speaking for yourself, like what have you learned during this quarantine, like other than just to take life slow and
I think everyone is getting a chance to reflect on their
Mhm.
own life as to what they're doing, what are they up to, what's really I think I begin to realize and see that what is really necessary for me.
Right.
Maybe perhaps it's not about being at the office all day long. Maybe perhaps it's about being more with spending more time with my family, my loved ones, getting a chance to see my other side. I mean, I got the chance to write long journal entries nowadays, and I get to ask myself, what sparks joy for me? What's that dream am I really living that dream? I have a long list, Asa. Producing movies,
Good for you.
becoming a dancing star on TikTok. It's just,
No, but whatever works. Like I'm telling you, like I make bucket lists too, and but mine go in like reverse. Like I started doing them every time I went through a badass breakup in my life. I would
yeah,
sit down and like come on, everyone's been through like a shitty breakup, and they're sitting down and they're feeling sorry for themselves. And I would be sitting there and I'd be like, every time I went through a breakup, I would take out a piece of paper and I would write a list of all the things that I felt that I might have missed out doing. And it's
mm,
funny because the list would always change. So
yeah,
every time I went through like, a bad breakup or even just any breakup, it doesn't have to be bad. I would list down like, okay, I want to travel to France, or I want to learn how to dance, or like, yeah, I want to, and I remember 10 over years ago, I went through a really, really bad breakup and I made this list and it was, I want to go to France and I want to go to a theater school in New York and I want to travel. And I had a whole list, and I slowly started going down that list. And I went to France, um, and I enrolled myself in theater school in New York, and it was really so
amazing.
fulfilling because I was going through that list, and I was like, this list made me feel like, you know what? Not that I want to be dramatic, but like at least the day I die, I know that I would have been able to do almost all the things that I want. It could be small things. It didn't even have to be materialistic things. You know what I mean?
Mm,
Like I would
yeah,
just list those things down and it was quite life changing.
yeah. So to answer your question, that's what COVID gave me. It gave me that list again.
That's great.
Can I can
I
I can I can I give shout outs to all the people, the fans that are watching? I mean,
Yes,
I've
of
been reading
course.
all the comments.
Yes.
I've been reading
So
all the comments,
at the
and they're
end
so
usually
lovely, and you guys are so kind, with all your lovely messages. Thank you
I
so
read a
much
lot
for
of
watching our
comments
live.
at the beginning too about you coming out and stuff, and how they were so happy and they're so proud of you, and you know, like I feel like this has been like a really good topic that we've spoken about. If you see, there's a lot of
Yeah,
comments at the beginning.
yeah. I saw them all. Thank you so much, guys. Thanks for the love.
See? So now,
Oh,
now
I'm
they're
so
all waiting
happy.
for your invitation to your wedding. No kidding.
Yeah. Oh, by the
No
way,
kidding.
I'm planning on giving out transparent envelopes.
Everyone watching is invited. No kidding. I'll
I'm
let you
gonna make
guys
a
all know where he's
I'm
getting
I'm
married.
I'm a bit, I think we're gonna have a big wedding, and I'm gonna make sure that I'm gonna get a lot of cash back. I've invested a
Okay, so
lot.
here's
I've I've been
are
to
you gonna
I've been
have a
to a
big
lot of
wedding?
weddings. I've been to a lot of weddings, and I think I spent like hundreds of thousands or even millions of baht at wedding. I want them all back at my wedding. So
So
minimum
I'm
is
doing a
10,000
mistake
baht.
right now because
Minimum
I'm
is
not
10,000.
having a big wedding. I'm,
If you come to my wedding, the minimum is 10,000 baht also.
oh Jesus, I better start collecting right now then. See, I should be like you. I should be like you. People were like, also, I told everyone, by the way, no one's invited to my wedding because I'm not having a wedding. I'm just gonna elope. And that's always been my style. I don't want a big ass dress. I don't want a massive cake. I don't want 1,000 people. Like, I'm Chinese and I know that it's supposed to be a thing, but I just don't want it. So my
Yeah.
parents are used to it already. So they're just like, she's never gonna have a wedding. And they're not gonna get one, so they're used to it. But now I think, Jesus Christ, like, maybe I should have a big ass wedding so I can get all
Ha
the money back that I've spent giving to
Go
other
for it.
people.
I'm gonna have a big ass wedding.
You do that. You deserve that.
I deserve a big ass wedding. We're gonna have a I'm gonna make sure it's gonna be like Bollywood style wedding. 4 days, 4 nights.
Oh my God, I cannot. I love going to weddings. By the way, I am that person. Like, I will be last man standing at the wedding because I'm always the last to leave at a wedding.
Yeah. So go big, Asa.
No, I can't. It's not my style. I like going to weddings. I just don't want to be in one. Okay, I don't want to be in a big ass dress, and I don't want like I'm too shy that way. I don't want that. But I'll happily go to one and drink all their alcohol. I'm totally down with that.
Okay.
All right, Woody. Thank you so much for talking.
Thank you so much also for inviting me. It's been so much fun talking to you, and I
It's always
and
good
I
talking to you.
yeah, and I feel like I get to be myself with you.
Of course, you're always one of those hosts that I feel like have kept it real, and like, you know, the good thing about you is that you're very relatable, and I think that's the most important thing. You know, when you talk to
Mm,
people, you want to see relatable people on TV, especially if they're being themselves. So I also like those, for those people tuning in as well, like, I hope you enjoyed this with Woody. Tune into the Ellen show or the Woody show,
the Woody Show.
the Woody show, which, by the way, when is that coming?
We were supposed to call it the Woody Ellen Show.
I like the, but wasn't your last show called the Woody show though?
No, never had the Woody Show.
Oh, I felt like that was the Woody show. Okay. No, you need to
No,
call it the Woody show.
this will be the first the Woody Show, and I'm gonna be doing this show for like Ellen probably 20 years.
That's great. So we get to grow old with you too. I look forward to that. I look
Okay,
forward
thank
to
you so
that.
much, Asa.
Thanks,
Thank you to
Woody.
you guys for watching as well.
Thanks
Love
for
you.
watching, guys. Good night.
Bye bye. Good night.
Bye.